The sun no longer sets on Nigerians. This is because Nigerians can now be found in virtually all nations and regions of the world. In Tall Drums, we bring you stories of Nigerians making remarkable contributions to the improvement of the human condition. Here is your host, Dr. Ugoji.
Hello, and welcome to the premiere edition of Tall Drums, a Nigerian-American journal. In contemporary times, perhaps the one name that most epitomizes the positive exploits of Nigerian immigrants abroad is that of our guest today. Professor Bart1 has made his mark in industrial engineering, automation, and robotics in the United States. A former Minister of Science and Technology for the Federal Government of Nigeria, Professor Bart1 is currently the William Kepler Professor of Engineering at the prestigious University of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, United States. He's also the director of the United States National Science Foundation Center for E-Design, one of a few centers of excellence designated by the U.S. government. Professor Nnaji was very kind to join us in the studio for this interview.
Tall Drums is sponsored by Sungai Corporation, publishers and consultants.
Professor Bart1 is the first of 12 children of late Mr. Emmanuel Nnaji Onovo and Mrs. Nev Nnaji. Born at Umuode village at Nkanu, Enugu State, Nnaji graduated from St. Anthony's Elementary School, Obe, with distinction in 1966. He had admission to attend Government Secondary School, Port Harcourt in 1967, but the cries of guns between Nigeria and the then Biafra stalled his education for 3 years. Following the war, Nnaji enrolled at St. Patrick's Secondary School, Emene, and graduated in 1975. In 1977, he received simultaneous scholarships from the Nigerian government and from St. John's University in New York. The University of Nigeria, Nsukka, also offered him admission to study mechanical engineering.
You're the first of 12 children, I understand.
That's correct.
That was a huge family.
Yes.
How has it been being the first one among a family of 12 children?
I would say that I have had some challenges and but also some good times as a result of that, in the sense that my father died before I finished high school, just before I finished high school. Mm-hmm. And so I have had to become like a dad to the rest of the children.
Your father's name was?
Emmanuel. Yes.
Right.
But the luck that we had was that our family, we have support, proper, strong support system, extended family support system. So if you lose a member of the family, the children of that member of the family would not fall through the cracks.
Right.
and we continue to propagate that today.
In the book Tall Drums that you were featured in,
Yes.
you said something about the war, and we're going to put this on the screen as a quote, but let me read it to you. It says, because we faced, that's you speaking, because we faced such tremendous challenges and survived, I am more resilient as a person, and I am more sensitive to my senses about Nigeria.
Correct.
Could you please expatiate on that? What do you mean?
Well, if you have experienced the adversity of being in a war situation where you could face bombing today, you could face aircraft shooting bullets at people, or people dying near you just from the effect of the opposite camp's attack, or that you have to fight to suffer, to keep healthy. And keeping healthy would mean that you have to find food. As you well know, during the war, many people died of kwashiorkor. My family didn't experience that, and I give credit to my uncle who, as we moved from one village to another, we would farm. Mm-hmm. We essentially grew vegetable, various crops, and we traded on whatever we could find. So we just made ends meet. So we didn't depend on the aid service from abroad. If it came, fine, we would get, but otherwise we depended on ourselves. And so after you've gone through that, it's extremely difficult for someone to shake you with things that are difficult in life. The difficulties of life don't quite affect you in the same way. It also made me more sensitive about Nigeria because I would say we understood what war is about, that war is not good, and that you just don't promote war. You have to promote stability for a country and make good use of it. So a lot of people just talk because they have never been in a situation of adversity, and we have been through it. I would say I lost 3 years of my life that way, to war. But the effect of that is that right afterwards, I wanted to catch up. I literally ate books and enjoyed reading, and that's why the time between my bachelor's degree, starting bachelor's to PhD, was so short because I wanted to catch up.
Tall Drums is sponsored by Sungai Corporation, publishers and consultants.
Now, before coming to America, you had obviously an impression
Yes.
of the United States.
Oh, yes.
What were those impressions, and how did that correlate with what you met on first arriving here?
I read papers, I read books, I read magazines, and they all showed glorious America. It was just a fantastic place to be. As a Catholic, I would have said that the next thing to heaven would have to be America. Yeah, so I didn't quite, it's not a place where you can properly define what you would see, except that everything will be there at your beck and call. Just like you can't quite define heaven, what really would be in heaven, but you know it's the place you want to be. So America, I had that kind of picture of America. Okay.
And you came
and remember, at the time, it wasn't like now, where people, the world is smaller. Right. You have the effect of the internet. Kids could go on the internet and they read stuff. Information now is in abundance. Information was scanty at the time. Okay. So really going to America was like going to a real distant land. It was further magnified when I was coming here, and there was this card. I came by Pan Am, which is no more, but Pan Am was the quintessential American airline that flew straight from Lagos to New York.
Kennedy,
JFK.
JFK, okay.
And the card, the disembarkment card they give you, and the back of it says, "Welcome to America, welcome to the New World." I mean, it does something in your head.
Okay. And then upon arrival,
they didn't quite fail. It was really a new world. It's very important to understand the Nigeria that I left. It's not Nigeria of today. When I left, these highways that you see in Nigeria were non-existent. Those highways were not there. When I went to get my visa from Enugu to Lagos, I went to Lagos to get my visa. I went through what you call the old road, and the bridges were such that when one vehicle, the opposing vehicle is coming, it has to wait for the other vehicle to pass. That's the kind of road we had in Nigeria. Many people no longer remember all that, but that was the Nigeria that I left. So imagine coming there and coming upon going from JFK into Queens, New York. You have, I don't know if it is a 12-lane highway or 8-lane highway, but it's just out of this world. No.
So what was your experience like serving as a minister of the federal government?
Extremely challenging. I slept, I got only 3 hours on the average every night, because within the short period I was there, I had to bring back all the institutions that should really be the Ministry of Science and Technology, negotiate with the ministers, work with the Minister of the Attorney General, Minister of Justice to write the law that will put back these things in place, get office that you now see in Federal Secretariat, get a whole lot of, and hire people. Extremely challenging. I was 37 then, and to go from academia to doing this. But it helped to shape how I see public service. A lot of the graft in the system, I kind of went me by, partly because I was. I faced the creation of the institution of that's the Ministry of Science and Tech, and the people who worked with me were quite good. I was quite privileged. I worked with a lot of good people, and I came with a zeal to perform rather than to get something, because some people go into government and they want to get something personal. Public service has to be about truly making a difference, and the difference has to be notable and must live beyond you.
Okay, so after that experience, you came back to the U.S.?
Yes, I came back to the U.S. I was at the University of Massachusetts for a couple more years, and then went to University of Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, correct.
Where I have remained, and then eventually at the University of Pittsburgh, we created the National Center, National Agency for e-design.
Yeah, how does it feel to be the director of the National Center of Excellence in Nigeria in the United States? Where is that?
It feels great because even in the U.S. there are only about 50 in the whole country, and there are centers of excellence on different issues, like National Science Foundation Center on Power, NSF Center on Reliability, Center on telecommunications. So mine was on product design. That is how to use all the tools available to create products fast, like automobiles, robots, aircraft components, and to test them virtually without having to create the physical entity, because it takes quite a while and it costs a lot of money to build the physical devices and test them. An example is an automobile. For you to truly finalize the design of a car, you have to crash a number of those cars, okay, physically. But with the virtual design, when you design all the components and you can do all the tests with the computer, you can reduce the costs by 95% of design and testing.
Okay. We're going to talk about one of your more exciting ventures, which is the geometric